first key principle is fewer. And fewer simply means because China's strength is in long production runs, you want to try to create a process in your factory where you're doing shorter production runs. For example, if China's minimum order size is 2,500, you want to create a minimum order size of 250. If you can customize products, that's even better. So how do you institute the principle of fewer? Well, the first thing you have to do is you have to look at your Chinese competition and determine what their minimums are, and then you react to those minimums. One of the most important things about the fewer principle is that it can only be accomplished if you have a very good team, because you're suddenly compressing lead times, which means that the pace of the business quickens dramatically. It's amazing how a good team can sit down around a table and figure out ways to produce smaller quantity order sizes. From my experience in talking to companies trying to implement this concept of fewer, one of the first reactions I get is to reduce my order size, minimum order size by 90%. That's going to cost me a lot of money. But my argument to these companies is think of it as a marketing cost, not as an operating cost. What you're doing is basically creating a high level of customer retention, because if you're creating a smaller order size that China can't create, then you're going to keep that customer. And I'll explain a little bit more about why that's important when we talk about the profile of your U.S. customer base when it comes to competing against China. Fewer is only the first step toward competing effectively with China. And you'll find as we go through the other principles, faster and finer, that when you combine the principle of fewer with faster and finer, you're definitely going to be able to better compete against China competition.
We want to hear your stories about how you're implementing the principles of fewer, faster, and finer to beat China manufacturers. So please go to our website, americandragon.us.